What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Steven Osentoski here of the Maize and Blue Review, joined again by Thomas Guynes, former lineman of the Michigan Wolverines. And Michigan Wolverines, we can now say the big champ Wolverines. Huge win, 42-3. Thomas Guynes here to help assist in some play breakdowns. Before we dive into that, what are your takeaways, Thomas, from this? I don't know what else I can say, but just a beautiful beatdown of the Hawkeyes here.
It was dominant. What was evident was our mentality, our mindset was good emotionally. Having to wait all day to come out and play, that can take a toll. And obviously our coaches did a really good job. Our seniors did a really good job as far as keeping everybody even keeled until it was time to unleash the hounds of hell. And at that particular point in time, once we took the field, you could tell that the boys came out ready to play. Iowa had a little bit of success early moving the ball on the defense. But luckily, like I said, we had a good stop there. I believe that's going to be one of the plays that we talk about here. And then from there, offensively, we just had an explosion, big play after big play. Loving what I was seeing out of my offensive line as far as changing the line of scrimmage. And if you are a learned individual, or if you're not, if you pay attention to the first quarter to halfway about the third quarter and the rest of the fourth, Iowa's defensive front seven wanted no more.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Other than that, it was a great team win. I love the play calling, a little razzle dazzle here and there, just to keep the Hawkeyes honest, and had some big plays, a lot of great contributions from a lot of guys. So let's delve into it and give the people a little something to think about as we go through some of these plays.
Yeah, we're going to show offense, defense, little special teams, really all facets. I think, as you said, it's a game where I think a lot of people could have expected a little bit of a letdown after beating your rivals, such a huge game, and then to come out and execute on this level. I think we'll see this consistently, just high-level execution, all facets of the game. All right, let's dive into it.
And they'll stay on the ground. Goodson.
3rd and 5 here. Such a great play from Ojabo, setting the edge. Talk us through this, Thomas. What goes on in this play?
So right here, what you love is the leverage. When you look at 79's pad level as he's coming off and trying to get this reach block, Ojabo comes through, brings his hands, brings that triangle of pain, if you will, hat and hands as we used to call it. And upon contact, watch his left arm. You see the extension. He's getting the hips around. Why? Because he has help coming down from, I want to say that's going to be number 2 coming in to fill that'll probably be the B gap there.
Yeah, right.
So here. coming through right there. So all Ojabo has to do is take care of his gap responsibility, which is going to be C gap and wider. So from that position right here, only thing I would probably say, and it's nitpicky, it's very nickel dime, if he was able to keep his shoulders a little bit more parallel to the line of scrimmage and not as perpendicular as he's showing right here, just because I would like to make sure that he's keeping that outside arm free. He's looking in the backfield, running back takes the handoff, sees that number 2's coming down filling. I got 15 doing a hell of a job splitting that double team right there, which causes the back to bounce. And then from there, he's all the way in Ojabo's wheelhouse, and Ojabo does a job finishing him off. So great job of just playing with leverage, assignment, sound football, and then letting your athletic prowess take over from there. But hats off to number 15 coming through, which is really one of the main reasons why this play did as well as it did, because of the interior penetration causes the back to bounce instead of coming downhill as much as he wanted to. Upon him bouncing, losing ground, gives Ojabo, and the safety coming down and filling, gives Ojabo a much easier path to the running back.
Yeah, it's just such a great job there. The first step there for Hinton inside, just getting to the inside, and that first step of 77. He's going so far to the right here. That really sets him up at a disadvantage. And you mentioned it's just everybody doing their job. 15 makes a play, forces the running back to bounce. Number 2 is there. He's doing his job, filling this gap, as you said. And then you have Ojabo doing his job. Anything to the outside here, don't do too much. He doesn't panic at this big gap here. He recognizes you have a guy responsible for that. He just recognizes, hey, as long as I keep my outside arm free, hold 79 up here, don't get pushed, keep outside arm, he's doing his job. So yeah, that's just.
So let's take it back real quick. So all the way back to the snap.
Mm-hmm.
So what's really interesting here is that we got lead play going to the right. So now I just want to talk about offensive line play. So and to your point, 77 needs to take a much smaller gap step. So he's trying to get on that outside shoulder, but if you look at his left foot, and if you look at the amount of time it takes for that left foot to get back down in the dirt, by that time his foot's still in the air. Hinton is already making his move inside, so now he has no other choice but to try to redirect, swing his whole body around to get something on him to either stop him or try to drive him down the line of scrimmage. So in such tight confines, we were always taught, shorten up your steps, tighten up your landmarks, because right here, seemingly not knowing what the play call was, it seemed like we might have had some level of run stunt going on where there's a direct veer off the snap of the ball. He's obviously not too gapping because he understands that number 2 is going to be coming down, taking that B gap responsibility.
Right. Yep. Yeah, great call out.
And then 55 takes him to football hell. I love it.
Dude's a monster. When you have Aiden Hutchinson on one end, Ojabo on the other, it's good luck, man. Like that's about it. That's all you can say.
Right.
Petrus in trouble. Petrus goes down.
No, I had to include this one, Thomas. Get your expertise on the prowess of Hutchinson, maybe the lack of prowess for offensive line dealing with this. Main thing to call out before analyzing the maybe the poor offensive line play here. All these routes here are going relatively deep. All right, we don't even really see what they turn into, but there are no short options, and even keeping in this running back isn't going to help the hell path that Aiden Hutchinson comes off the edge here. Only bringing 4 rushers, but it doesn't matter when you got this guy on the edge. So let's move forward just to show the routes. You can see everything going deep. Not a whole lot of options there by the time that Petrus has a Hutchinson breathing down his neck. So let's go to the closer angle here. Thomas, break it down.
So when you look at 79's pass set, let's go back to the snap of the ball.
Yep.
Watch his right knee. He doesn't actually gain ground. All he really does is open that hip up, and now he's off balance. So as he's taking that first step, now watch his feet a little close together. Almost gets stepped on by 77. If you look how wide his set is, you really can't even do anything out of there as far as lateral movement. He's stuck. So now, decent position right now for 79. But he still has all of his weight moving to the outside. And instead of sitting down and getting his butt a little bit more parallel to the line of scrimmage and punching with his hands, he panics. And what most offensive linemen do when we panic, we decide to lunge because we want to get as much surface area of ourselves on that rusher, because obviously we like contact. And then from there, once I latch on, then, I should be able to play what we like to call guerrilla basketball. But because of the lunge and the lack of hand usage by 79, and if you go back maybe one more frame. So when Hutch is coming off, watch Hutch's left foot as we're looking at it, his right foot, that hard inside step freezes. Now you think you might get a bull rush. And then Hutch comes back with a counter move, showing great accuracy with his hands as far as the club. And I can't tell if that's a swim or a rip right off this particular angle.
Yeah, let's skip to the close angle. Let's skip to the close angle here.
Yep, let's go to that close angle again. That'll definitely show us what we're looking at.
Yeah, there's your hard step you're talking about.
Hard inside step. Lyman doesn't really know what he wants to do with his hands just yet. So before he's able to get extension, Hutch is clubbing with that left, clubbing it and probably even grabbing that lineman's right shoulder to pull him by.
Mm-hmm.
Let it play. More of just a rip move from there. And now running back running back sets too far outside as well. So if you're going to come and try to give support to your tackle, you can't be that far outside, right? Because at this particular point, 15 almost is like there's a little bit of fear in his heart, and he really doesn't want to make this play. If he really wanted to block Hutch at this point, he would have been more squared up and ready to stick his face in there. Right now, all he really wants to do is try to put a shoulder on him, which is what he does. But because of the angle of everything, the inside is still open. Cardinal principle to offensive line play, never get beat inside. And if you're going to be a running back assisting with the offensive line, you take on our same tenets. You never get beat inside. So if you look at 15's footwork right now, feet are together. All he's really trying to do is just get a shoulder on this guy. I don't know if he's going to possibly chip to go release, but by that time it was too late, and Hutch was already on the quarterback. Yet again, take another victim in the football hell.
Yeah, it's something where it's at this point already, right here, that move from Hutchinson, he's already looking at the running back. It's such an elite move. His eyes are now focused on the running back. He's like, with this move, I am one here. I have won this. Now I need to identify what is the play of 15. He's still in the middle of beating 79, and his eyes are already focused on the running back. It's just such an elite play to be setting up the next move after he just so cleanly beat the tackle already. And you're right, it just doesn't seem like 15 is really having his heart in.
Yeah, he definitely didn't want any of that smoke coming off the end. And as I'm going across, and I love this angle right here because, again, it gives you a really good view of the offensive line. If you look at a lot of these guys' footwork and the spacing of their feet, you look at 78, how spread apart his feet are. Gets a good stab in with his left hand. Now, it's pretty much the only thing that saves him here is him getting that hand in, gets a good stab, and then from there he's able to run 55 upfield. But again, 79, it's the lean that killed him. If he was able to sit back, get a stab, he might have been able to play a little bit of guerrilla basketball in there. 15 comes up for the chip. Then at which point in time, he probably would have released off into the flat and would have been able to dump it down to 15 for, a marginal gain at best, because I'm guessing our linebacker should have been spying on the running back coming out of the backfield. But overall, again, elite pass rush, great counter move, super active, violent hands, and understanding where the quarterback was. Didn't overrun the play, understood his angles, and was able to get rid of 15, able to get rid of the running back, and then, finish the play by not overrunning it and making a sure tackle for a huge sack and tackle for loss.
Yep. Found his ticket to New York to the Heisman ceremony with this play for sure. And I just want to reiterate it's such a great point, this lean, and you just take the angle, right? This is where your power is from. Look at the angle here, and I know we don't have the best angle on 78, but look at where the power is from, right? You mentioned that left hand, that power. He is pretty straight up at this point. He's got a wider base. I mean, he's got a nice base here, but it's more of where his upper body, where's his chest, where the chest here for 79, it's pointed straight at the ground, right? And here, chest is still up. You still got the power coming from your hips here. And at this point, there's no power for 79. That's just losing football against a guy like Hutchinson.
That was a lean and pray where, at least for 78, he was still able to get some punch in there and then just able to move his feet and run Ojabo up the field. So, from there, nice job on the left side. But again, it was a lean and pray, hoping that, 15 was going to be there in close enough proximity to hopefully allow him to regather himself, and then they could both finish the double team. But obviously, Hutch wasn't having it, brought the smoke, and, just a great elite move by a great player that's been putting in work all year.
Absolutely.
First down and goal at the 4. And the Wolverines cash it in. And it's Haskins. Touchdown.
This is about the point of the game where I started to, I think I went and got a beer after this one. I was like, all right, game's in hand. 25 got a touchdown, up 21-3. Started feeling comfortable. All right, for the blocks here real quick, just quick play design for you, Thomas. Down block, Got two pullers here, Zinter, backside Keegan, pulling two guys here, Haskins to follow, and mainly about 65 here. But talk us through, Thomas. What do you see?
So obviously, yeah, we've gone back to the gap scheme. We've been doing that a lot this year as far as pulling our interior offensive linemen. And so we're going to go jumbo right. We got two tight ends to the right side. 84 is coming down with a good down block. Schoonover's coming over here to pick up that outside linebacker here. So when you look at 65's pull, 65 is probably going to be aiming for 20 here. So if we let it play, we get outside of Schoonover's block. Now we start getting our head around. Defenders are starting to come downhill. Good pickup. Now what I like about 65's block here is that he keeps his shoulders parallel, doesn't overrun the play, gets hands on. Now he runs his feet, and he's just an athlete at this particular point. We're well in hand. Haskins has the angle, but just enough, and that right there at the end to ensure we don't get called for holding. Hey, right now, just let him go. We're in the end zone. No need to try to quote unquote finish the block, so to speak. We're already in. Plays over. Let the guy go. Don't put any question in the referee's mind whether or not you had a hold on that particular play to get that touchdown call back. So smart, athletic. You know, he's what, 6'5", 6'6", 325 pounds, looking good coming out of his stance and getting onto a smaller player out in space. That's huge. So well done, well blocked play up front by the boys in blue.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's got to be such a difficult timing thing, right? Because you have a guy trying to fight to the outside of you, as you said. As soon as he's really starting to get to the outside, you know, that has to be just a feel thing, right? For Zinter to understand, okay, now that he's fighting this hard to get outside, I need to know when to cut my losses, right? You can't stay engaged with this guy the entire play. If you do, you get called for holding. So it's just a timing, a sense of when you feel the play has developed long enough that you've held the block here long enough to let him go and to ensure that you don't get flagged. So is that just kind of like an internal clock thing, or are you kind of reading the defender's eyes in this case, do you think?
I don't really think that you're reading the defender's eyes just because of the fact you got to remember, you know, we're looking at this from slow-mo and able to rewind.
True.
In real time, off the field, you know, adrenaline is going. It's super chaotic. I think once you put hands on the defender and you start to feel them starting to get outside of the framework of your shoulders, two things in which you can do. You can release the block, or you have to put your head down and run your feet. You literally have to now become faster than the defender because you're actually now starting to catch up. And that now, again, turns more into a drive block, and you're still alleviating that perception of holding because of the fact that I'm not allowing him to pull away from me, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But because of the fact that I'm running my feet and I'm keeping up with him, there's no point of any obstruction that's keeping him from the direction in which he's going. So you're almost setting a visual illusion, if you will, for the referee. But at the same time, like I said, it's a feel thing. If he's already beaten me to that particular point which he's trying to get to, let him go, cut your losses. Or if you feel like you're starting to get beat, but he's not there, you just got to run your feet and it turns into a full out sprint, almost like a run block. And hopefully from that level of effort, it shows that you're not holding the defender.
Right. Yeah, great call out. The only other thing here, you do have Keegan. His block didn't actually come to materialize. Looks like he's probably targeting this backer here. It's kind of like a 2-on-1 that Zinter actually picks up on his block. This guy tries to shoot the gap right off of the back of Zinter here, and he kind of trips over. Looks like another defender that Schoonmaker there is getting. So, ideally, you get Keegan maybe out there a little bit quicker. Seems like he does slow up right about here, expecting maybe one of these linebackers to flow down here. But yeah.
But let's take it back to the snap, and I think I know why that happened.
Sure.
If you take it back to the snap of the ball, watch 68. So, see what happens? You get penetration because you get the snap of the ball, but he's not coming off the ball. He's high and he's getting driven.
Sure.
So now he's getting pushed back into the backfield, which is now causing Keegan to belly, which slows up his progression, getting to the front side of the play.
Yeah, it's true. He's got to watch his feet. He's got to just balloon that out just 1 yard. And when you're talking, a game of inches here, when you can't go straight down the line here, right? Ideally, you can go straight, maybe right around this 5-yard line. Just kind of hug this. Instead, if you have to belly out just a little bit here, that extra quarter of a second, whatever it may be, that gives time for an athletic linebacker like that to try to shoot that gap. So yeah,
Exactly.
a little bit of fortunate, but Zinter getting that block makes the job that much tougher for that linebacker, and you got to give credit to Schoonmaker 86 here as well for holding his block enough. This isn't a big window for this guy to sneak through, right? This would have been an easier window, but you do have Keegan there as well. So because of other players executing, makes the job tough for the other defenders, and Michigan's the benefactor.
But I think this play right here truly shows why offensive line play, it's all about all 5 guys, all 6, 7 guys, including tight ends, working in concert. Again, just looking at the center and taking that position block. Yeah, you're getting the ball back to the quarterback, but I need for you to come off the ball and keep your pad level low, because if that nose guard, if that one technique had more drive, would have been, could have been catastrophe back there, just as far as the amount of penetration that, that lack of a block allowed.
Sure.
So even looking at Schoonover out on the end, when we get ready to go play Georgia, they got a very dynamic defensive front. Our guys can't catch. We can't have high pad level. We got to get under their pad level and drive these guys off the ball. But it worked out to our benefit right here. Zinter got out, did a great job on a smaller guy in space. Haskins with his, natural athletic ability and speed. And again, him just being a north-south kind of runner definitely was a benefit here for us to get in the end zone and get a relatively easy 6 points.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to say this was the culmination of a 10-play drive where we, racked up like 82 yards on this series. So hats off to the offense.
Yeah, 100%.
Blake Corum in the game.
I don't know why it keeps doing that.
Blake Corum in the game, and Corum goes outside.
All right, not too many negative plays here, but this is obviously a big one. You're up 21-3 at this point, but still don't want to set up your offense with a 6-yard loss on first down. So let's take a look at this play. What do you think goes wrong here? Obviously 97 in the backfield. But what's your take on this play design and where we think things actually went wrong for this play?
Well, first of all, 97 made a hell of a play. Got off the ball really nicely here. And honestly, was it that Iowa had the right defense based off of our offensive call? Don't know. As I'm looking at it here, the pull wasn't bad. You always want to pull into the line of scrimmage. And then if you have to, you can then kick out either, upfield or into the backfield, if you will. So as I'm looking at the right guard coming down the line of scrimmage, looks to be in good position here. He doesn't have a lot of belly on his pull. And I think basically because 97 came off unmolested, he was actually able to see and had a good angle to where the handoff was, and just showed great athleticism, was able to beat our puller and was able to get to the ball carrier from there. So
yeah, it seems yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like Michigan almost made a bet here, where if this guy wants to fly upfield, right, if this guy does, you're going to trust that Blake Corum can beat this to the outside and that this guy doesn't have the athleticism to make that play on this give.
Right.
To me, that's what seems like the case, because like you said, it seems like a good pull here for Zinter. You can't reasonably expect him to get here if this is the path for 97. It seems like it's just a bet that Corum's going to be able to dust this guy. And I think the commentator said that it seemed like there was a miss ID on block, which I don't think that's the case. Seems like all the way this is a called double team on this defensive tackle.
Right.
Left tackle gets up to this linebacker, and then you're blocked through to the safety here if all things go well. And it just, I think you're probably right that they just had a good call, and it's more of a good play from 97 than anything else.
Because as you look at it, even if the tight end was to come up and their linebackers at the top of the numbers, at the top of 20 on the defensive right side, you still have the safeties in the back end that's able to pick up this inside slot, right?
Yep.
So if 97 is going in on a veer, then that backer at the top of the numbers can set the fence post, so to speak, and have that outside have that outside part of the defense covered. So I think it was literally just a really good job by Iowa calling the right play versus, us running the gap play, pulling that backside guard for the kick out, because 97 seemingly was coming on a straight veer. He's not trying to two gap it. And it was like somebody shot him out of a cannon and just had a really good angle and made a great athletic play in our backfield, unfortunately. So hats off to them. Sun shines on the dogs behind every once in a while.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to tip your cap. Sometimes just a guy makes a play. And I think more often than not, Michigan was that guy in this case, 97. Like you said, you got one this time. And luckily for Michigan, it didn't happen to be the case for the majority of this one.
Exactly. We definitely won a lot more battles than we lost.
Yep.
So good when the chips are down here late in the season.
Taylor. And it's blocked! They finally got to him!
Cornelius Johnson with the block punt here in the fourth quarter. The quit is never ending on this team. All facets of the game. We said it ahead of time. Let's talk through this, Thomas. What do you see?
First of all, I just see outstanding effort. When we're in the fourth quarter right now, and seemingly the game is in hand. So, these guys on special teams could, just play the read technique and let the play materialize and get off the field, right? But no, what do? I had a guy at the top of the formation that was like, I've been getting close all game. Let me continue to bust my behind and see what happens. And again, good things happen when you give effort. And this is what I'm seeing right here. You got a guy taking with great effort, took a great angle, but also seemingly it was one of those plays again where Iowa almost stunted into the strength of our defense, if you will. As the snap takes place, you see the punter working his way over to their right, our defensive left, and we're bringing nothing but smoke off that left corner. So it was very difficult for that secondary protection to get over there to pick up this kid coming off the top of the edge who was screaming. Now, the other caveat, if you get to that tight line copy where the punt actually take place, just look at the effort and the layout this kid had. And the takeoff point from where he laid out to make sure that he did not get the inadvertent roughing the kicker or running into the punter to negate a great play in that penalty. So that right there is just nothing but want to. And if you got guys that are willing to do that in the fourth quarter when the game's pretty much in hand, you got a really great team. You got something really special brewing in that locker room.
Yeah, I think it's such a smart thing because, like you said, the punter's rolling to his right here. The wall that's forming, right? These three upbacks, whatever you want to call them, forming this wall here. Seems like they told Cornelius Johnson, probably the fastest guy on the punt block here, without a doubt. They probably told him, "Hey, threaten to the outside and get just on the inside shoulder of this," because they're probably recognizing this gap here between number 50 and I think there's number 40. And it's such a smart thing. Bring your fastest guy here, attack this edge, force this guy as far outside as possible by threatening the edge here, and then just cut inside and hope that number 50 and 36 here aren't able to close that gap that you see here. So it's really smart, bringing that pressure where it is. And maybe they saw that on film, but I think you're right. When that's, one of your star wide receivers making that play and that effort in the fourth quarter, that speaks louder than anything else. Having a wide receiver give that kind of effort on special teams in the fourth quarter when a game, like you said, was seemingly already in hand. I mean, those are the guys you want in your locker room, and those are kind of the plays that I think kind of stand out on what makes this team special compared to, maybe other teams that weren't able to get it done.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's about that leadership, and you can only lead from the front when you're willing to do what you're telling other guys to do. And if those other guys see you putting forth that type of effort, they have no choice but to try to mimic that to the best of their ability. And if everybody's putting out, again, it's that holistic aspect of bringing this whole team together from a standpoint of not only just talent and X's and O's, but it's effort and want to. You got to truly believe in what's taking place in that locker room, be it what the coaches are saying, be it, the type of senior leadership you have, be it whatever our goals are for the season. And seemingly these guys have all bought in to that throughout this season. So kudos to them. Kudos to the special teams coach. They've been doing a hell of a job all year. We've been putting a lot of pressure on punters, making those guys uncomfortable back there. And, as a guy that's never been on any punt block or punt team, it's really nice to see and to be able to break this down. But like I said, it's effort, ladies and gentlemen. That's all this really is effort and talent.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again, Thomas Guynes, for joining me here on a few analysis breakdown plays from the Big Ten Championship victory for the Michigan Wolverines. Any final takeaways, any final notes heading into the couple weeks here leading up until the college football playoff matchup against Georgia?
Well, let's heal up. Let's take care of those little nicks and bruises. Let's make sure we're getting as healthy as possible. Let's not be negligent in taking care of our bodies at this particular point. Obviously, we got finals coming up. So, we are the University of Michigan. We are the Harvard of the Midwest. And why is that? Because we take care of the job also in the classroom. So I wish all the boys good luck on their upcoming finals. Expecting to hear, some academic all Big Ten, all Americans. That's what we do under the Wings helmet. On the football side of things, we got bowl conditioning coming up, bowl practices. Continue to put forth the same amount of effort. Right now, we don't have to put forth a Herculean effort. We just have to continue to do what we've been doing. Obviously, some tweaks here and there, but continue to trust the process, continue to chop wood, so to speak, and just be excited about the opportunity to go out here to play for the Natty. First, we got to get past the Bulldogs of Georgia, who are going to bring forth a highly pissed off attitude after losing to Bama in the SEC championship. So I'm sure their coaching staff is going to be bringing in a couple of wrinkles and looking to lean on the athleticism of their team. But I'm highly confident that our defensive front seven is going to bring the funk, and the big boys up front should be able to continue to open up some holes for our running back and keep our quarterback safe. I'm looking for Cade to have a really good game. Again, doesn't have to be spectacular. Just put the ball where it needs to be at. Let our wide receivers, running back, tight ends catch the ball in stride, get that yak. Continue to keep the chains moving. Let's stay out of those third and longs, second and longs. If we're able to do that, I have really high hopes and high expectations for this Michigan Wolverine football team on New Year's Eve day, and looking to see us in the national championship game, either against Bama or Cincinnati. So however it plays out, definitely confident, definitely proud of these guys. My little bros finally got a ring. So salute to those gentlemen right there. Welcome to the club, young man. Welcome to the club.
Can't say it any better than that. Thomas, thanks for joining again. And hopefully we'll have you after the new year in 2022 to break down some more positives from the next big game for Michigan. So for Stephen, for
Roger,
Thomas, thanks for watching.
Happy holidays to you.
Yeah, there you go. Happy holidays, and go Blue.
Go Blue.